was today?
Basically, the officers voted yes to accept the city's proposal on what we call an MOU.
Okay, so can you explain what that is to me?
Maybe it's a memorandum of understanding. It's an addendum to the contract, which basically kind of changes the pay scale on what we're going to get on our next step.
And what are your thoughts on this decision? Does this shock you, or are you expecting them to vote?
I have no opinion on the matter. I basically do what I'm told to do by the officers. The city basically came to us last-ditch effort to avoid furloughs and asked us to give up 1% of our next pay step for close to 10 months. That would also help pay for the academy, the secondary academy that they wanted for fiscal year 2011. So basically the officers are agreeing to it. We still have a contract. We still hold city council liable for that contract. Just we are concerned with public safety. We want more officers on the street. We don't want to send officers home, so therefore the majority of officers voted yes to accept the city's proposal. Basically removing the furloughs off the table for a 12-month period. I have a feeling things may change next year when budget process comes up again, but for right now everything's going to stay as is.
Okay. And then, if you're ready to give me a background, were they originally asking for a 2% hold off?
No, basically what the city originally asked for was an entire year worth of raises, reduce a whole bunch of steps, take back our holiday pay, take back a 15-year step, and a whole bunch of other items. It was in millions. It was into the millions. And then they came back with a second offer, which was a little bit lower than the first one, and now this is basically the third and final offer. You know, and I believe the association and the city manager's office is going to work together to, one, not send officers home. That's one of the most unsafest things you can do. And two, have a secondary academy for 2011 so we can at least have 50 more officers on the street. Because we're going to have at least 50 or 60 retire this year, so we'll barely keep up what we had last year.
Okay. Anything else you want to say about this? What are your thoughts on this? Are you glad this is resolved, or
well,
temporarily resolved?
It's temporarily resolved. We voted yes. We're going to help out the city. We're going to help out the citizens, put officers back on the street, and get more on the field. But we are also closely going to scrutinize the spending of city council for the next 12 months. We do not want to be going back through this again, fighting over a contract issue where we have a contract with the city. Their fiscal responsibility is to maintain the funds within the city. Now, apparently, something happened with that. As an association, we're going to strictly scrutinize every decision that they make throughout the year, so we're not faced with this again next year.
Anything else you want to add?
That should do it.
Couple more questions. Originally, it was characterized in the media that the city was asking the police officers to delay the pay raise. Is that accurate, or is there clarification on that?
We call it defer, delay, whatever you can. We're supposed to get a 2% September 1. Basically what they're asking us to defer half of it for close to 10 months so we can pay for the secondary academy and pull furloughs off the table.
Okay, so you guys aren't losing anything, it's just being delayed, is that correct?
Well, it depends how you look at it. It's being delayed, but you're not going to get that pay raise for the 10 months. It's not like all of a sudden they're going to pay you back that 1% for the 10 months you're out of it. Basically, we're giving the city close to $600,000 so we can fund a secondary academy. It's not like we're going to get it back. We're giving it back to the city so the city can put more officers on the street.
None of the other city employees got a raise during that time. Did that factor at all into your guys' calculation when you guys were deciding whether or not?
I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into what they did or what they didn't get. I don't want to pit uniformed against non-uniformed. All city employees work hard, and I really think that all city employees should get a raise. Well, that's city council's responsibility.
Right.
We have a contract, they do not. I don't want them pulling from us to give to them, and I don't want them pulling from them to give to us. The city needs to balance the budget, and they need to do what they need to do, and not take one from the other and then pit uniformed and non-uniformed against each other, because it's all a city service. I mean, we all do a service for the community, and if they deserve a raise, then give them a raise.
Okay. Can I get the background from you now, if you don't mind?
The outcome of the vote?
Yes, that we
Yes.
are going to accept the city's last offer.
Okay. Are you gonna tell us what the margin was?
I'm not gonna tell you right now what the margin is.
Okay.
I like to get that information out to the officers first, since it's their vote.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, can you say whether it was close? Oh.
It wasn't close.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it was or
It
wasn't?
was not close.
Okay.
What do you think swung it? Was it the fact that these furloughs were hanging out there?
I don't think furloughs were the issue. It comes down to public safety. You don't want to send officers home, and it's not about a 2% raise, and it's never been about a 2% raise or furloughs. It comes down to you have to keep the scale up so you can attract other officers to maintain our force. If you don't, we're going to deplete it and we'll never catch up. I think the figures came down to the part where the officer could accept it. You know, instead of asking for millions, now you're down to the, you know, the basic, what they needed to begin with. I really wish the process would have been different at the beginning, and they would have come to what they needed and not what they wanted. It's two totally different things.
So if they'd gotten this offer at the beginning, maybe there wouldn't have been all this,
Well, when you come
back and
to
forth.
the association, you ask officers to give up millions in pay raises for the next, 20 years of a contract. You're going to get a little fight out of it. So I'm saying, come to us with what you need and not what you want.
What impact, if any, do you think the recent shootings on the other side of the border, when rounds landing on this side, had on public sentiment towards public safety?
Well, I don't want to scare the public, but they need to be concerned with what's going on. Everybody paints a beautiful picture that nothing is wrong and everybody's safe. What's going on in Mexico does affect El Paso. And I don't want to use the fear factor to scare people into supporting the police department. We do a job because we're good at what we do, but I don't want to use a scare tactic, but people need to be concerned with what's going on over there.
That's interesting because you guys released I'm not sure if it was you guys directly, but there was a commercial release that did talk about violence in Juarez and related it to this ongoing debate. So how do you square up the two sentiments?
Well, I don't want to merge the two.
Well, on the one hand, you said you didn't want to, scare the public, but then that commercial clearly makes reference to the
It
violence
was
in
meant
Juarez.
for a point.
Okay.
I don't want to get into that right now because the problem is we still have to work with City Council. And that commercial was targeting City Council and what's going on. And right now we have to work together to get beyond this so we can get more officers in the field. And I don't want to bring up something that is in the past that's going to create animosity amongst the association and the city. Right now we need to get through this, get officers in the academy, and get them on the street.